Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be reminiscing about some humorous astrological moments. A lot of this maybe is attributed to my Cancer Sun and Cancer Mercury energy. But anyway, well, first off is I had a moment one time with a Gemini Moon friend. A number of humorous moments with Gemini Moon people, I guess. But this one was a friend I see at the library a lot who was a Gemini Moon. And I thought was interesting was there was one time when apparently, Gemini Moon, I don't know if any of you have read that book, Secrets from a Stargazer's Notebook, but in the book it stated something about how Gemini is very, I don't remember exact words, but basically very inquisitive. They're very, they have expanding curiosity or something about how others live, but yet they won't, they're cagey about telling or divulging the minutiae of themselves or, their own lives. So I think this really epitomized that energy of Gemini Moon people in this one moment. Because there was a time when I had told my Gemini Moon friend about something that was on the computer, on the internet, and it had a fairly extensive personal info pertaining to him on it. So what happened was, he had, I showed him the information on it, and he says, well, I'll be darned or something, and he looked like everything but in a state of trepidation by this. And he said to me something like, Eddie, exit that screen out. And I jokingly said to him, being flippant, I was like, is that an order or a request? And he said very emphatically, that's an order. And I thought that was so funny because it just shows, there's something about Gemini Moon people, for whatever reason, that they can be, that word cagey that was stated in that book is a very good word, describing it, very restricting about what they want to divulge or unveil about their own lives. You figure the moon can be connected with the public, and Gemini is kind of like that news and media. So it's understandable why Gemini Moon people could be very vocal regarding like news and things that could be worldly events, that things that are in the media. And the fact they're so inquisitive, it could be about things regarding others, but about themselves, it's like it just goes in the opposite direction. Anyway, now another person that was interesting, humorous astro moment, and is that in a way is another person that had a friend had a Gemini Moon and Ascendant actually. And it's funny how we talk about, Geminis are very difficult to pin down, whether it's on a more of a mental level, but sometimes physically as well, because they just, they are very shrewd and street savvy, and if somebody's in some street match or fight with them, or they're trying to get wrestled, and a lot of them seem to find a way to outmaneuver the enemy, so to speak, and wrestle their way out or work their way out of a situation where they're about to literally get pinned down. And there was a moment back in, I guess you could say, middle school, junior high school, what have you. There was a Gemini Moon Ascendant friend. Had a couple people that were about ready to actually, it looked like they were trying to pin him down. Actually, they were just kind of wrestling outside and trying to push him down to the ground. And he did some kind of real shrewd, it was like a quick, abrupt, like a push-up move, real fast, and he pushed himself up. His face was facing the down, his back was up, his stomach kind of facing the ground, so he was like kind of in a push-up position, and he did something where he just pushed his back up or something, and he knocked the two people right off of him. And I think that really kind of epitomizes, emblematic of really like Gemini energy. You talk about them not being able to be mentally pinned down, but sometimes physically as well. Now another, I look back, humorous astrological moments when I could correlate, funny things, humorous things connected with people's astrological energies. I had a Scorpio rising friend, certainly no exception to this rule. He has a Sagittarius sun. So he's obviously very humorous and flippant. He used to like to play practical jokes on me, but it was flavored with surreptitious energy because, he does have a Scorpio ascendant. And there was one time when he took, he worked at me at a retail store. He took a vacuum, it was a vacuum cleaner. I was vacuuming some area, and he took the plug and, you know, wrapped it around something. And I mean, or he would hide my coffee, or do things like a very sneaky way, or he would hide himself somewhere or sneak up on me, and just things of that nature. Scorpio energy could be very, again, very surreptitious, very stealth-like. And I thought, I mean, he was just a real, I mean, you had the Sagittarius Sun energy, I believe, coming out, but it was, like I said, it was flavored, I think, with that Scorpio rising type, that sneakiness. And I think, I mean, I just look back on him, and he was definitely somebody, a memorable character, I would say. And of course, Scorpio rising people can, you know, there is something very magnetic and charismatic. They're hard people to forget anyway. But anyway, the next thing up is, well, another, you want to say funny, haha, funny, peculiar, but a Cancer ascendant, a Mars conjunct Cancer ascendant lady that I played a prominent role in my life at some point. And I mean, for a Cancer ascendant, I would say she was, I mean, obviously very bold person, to say the least, somewhat acerbic. She was notorious for going into like fast food places and getting into the arguments with the help there. I mean, Cancer, the zodiac sign Cancer, can be connected with food. And I mean, when you have Mars in that mix as well, you have that contentious and acerbic energy, of course. And being the fact this conjunct the ascendant, this was obviously seen very readily on a first impression by others, I believe. And she had a number of battles with these fast food workers. It was so many, it's not even funny. No pun intended, of course. But anyway, and I really, and when I look back, I mean, I could remember one time she had told me something about taking an ice cream cone and not like taking the cone with the ice cream and just throwing the whole cone down, but she kind of just got mad at one of the workers there, and she just kind of, you know, pushed you kind of did something with the ice cream cone and just jolted a little and just kind of pushed it a little to make, you know, some of the ice cream hit the ground. And I mean, that is fun. I would say, I mean, looking back at that very memorable moment, of course, and a funny moment is that really, I mean, didn't maybe literally take place, but a joke I had come up with one time is that, you know, was something about, well, actually, this one I actually did write about. I remember now. This was something with Donald Trump. I made a little joke one time it was on a Facebook post I made, but the joke was, it was about basically Donald Trump, you know, firing somebody. And well, first I think it was something about, I'm trying to remember how, I'm trying to remember how the joke went exactly. Something about, well, why did about Donald Trump believing in astrology, and if he gave credence to it, he said, no, I don't believe in it. Then Donald Trump was then asked, and remember, this is just a joke, this is something I made up, this didn't actually happen with Donald Trump, but somebody had gone up to another employee, whatever, had gone up to Donald Trump, said, oh, I noticed you just terminated and fired that person, what's going on, President Trump? And Donald Trump, I made him, you know, in the joke, he responds saying, well, that person had Pluto in conjunct his ascendant from the 6th house. It was time for him to make a major change in his employment. So anyway, one of those contradictory things in a joke. So anyway, another thing too, I thought it was interesting, going back to another Gemini Moon person, legendary former golfer Jack Nicklaus. Remember one time he was on some, I don't know, it was on one of those some golf show, of course, and it was a tournament or something. He was talking with somebody, I guess one of the announcers there, or whatever you call them, and he had asked Jack Nicklaus a question. And what happened was, Jack Nicholson, the Gemini Moon, he gives such a long, rambling answer. Remember that the moon in astrology can be responsive and reactionary. It could be about how we respond to things. And I mean, Gemini Moon could be very valuable, to say the least, very loquacious. In this energy, I mean, he went on for a pretty good time, and he in his response, and then after he was done answering the question, he said something like, "Oh, I talked so much, I forgot what the question was." So anyway, I just thought that was interesting, and and really that's pretty much it as far as my as far as anything as far as my humorous astrological moments go. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my humorous astrological moments. And stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Capricorn January 2019 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.